G'day, I'm Adam, VK4 GHZ. We're at the Redcliffe and District's Radio Club rooms, and this is part 2 of the Brisbane VHF Group's Microwave Tune-Up Day.
Thanks all for coming and welcome to the Redcliffe and District's Radio Club. My name's Peter, VK4EA, who people don't know me. Introduce Kevin Johnson, who's the Vice President as well of the club, and big thank you to Doug Friend, VK4OE, and Bob Bathgate for bringing their gear. Have fun, test, tune. We're going to put some sausages on shortly. For those who don't know where the loos are, you've probably found it by now. Please close the door. And there's coffee and tea. Help yourselves. A bit of a donation would be nice, and there's drinks and chockies for sale in the fridge. Have fun.
65 watts that's coming out of there.
Right.
And that's with 13.5 milliwatts coming out of the transfer, going through whatever's losses in there. Been driving this one, which should be a 3 watt
PA, yep.
unit.
So what do we do? Adjust this to get 3 watts?
We can adjust that to get 3 watts out. Yeah. That's providing all the overdriving it.
This is down here a 3.4 gig septum feed for an EME dish feed, and it's made by Phil, VK4 CDI, and he had it working, built according to plan, and we've just adjusted one of the adjustment screws on the back of it for best return loss, one of the ports, and now we're going to change over onto the other port on the other side and check it for its best return loss. So this was getting 23 dB return loss after we adjusted it on this port number 1, and port number 2 on the other side will shortly be tested. Put it back on the other side, and now we're looking at feed number 2, which one is for transmit and one is for receive.
We won't be able to tune what to solder this back on.
Alright, it seems like Phil's got an issue with that, and it tends to fall off. So that is currently showing about 14 dB return loss,
14 dB.
And you're going to adjust it with that screw.
Yeah, it's broken off.
Oh, you mean the...
Yeah, the nuts unsoldered.
Alright, looks like it was never soldered by the look of it.
Not well enough, yeah.
Take that one away and
We'll fix it up.
try and fix it up, yeah.
This is VK4 Zulu Hotel Lima transmitting on 10.5 gigs. This particular unit was used to get the VK4 and VK2 10 gig records. Yeah, there's a great day here, lots of equipment as you've probably seen. Thanks very much.
Something else down here at the moment. This needs a recalibration. It changes, noise figure meters change in time, so you've actually got it's got to do an IF calibration and then a recalibration, and then it will come up on the correct. At the moment, the noise head is connected directly to the input, so it should come up on 0, 0, 0, 0. But noise being noise, it doesn't always do that either.
Oh, okay.
We did a bit better. VK4 Can you check this to see what the sensitivity is like on 2403 440, because I can't get the beacon with it. I just want to see how sensitive it is.
Okay, is this an FM, is it?
Any sideband, FM, whatever band.
That's clear.
Yep.
Little technique that Graham 3X2K taught me. It's a little bit of brass shim, we can't see that, on the end of a bamboo skewer. And just move around the filter, all the end of the tracks on there, until you find a peak and signal. And there it is, you mark where it is, cut a bit of shim, solder it in, check that it's okay, move it occasionally, and just keep working your way around the circuit until you peak all the receive signals up, and that's snake baking.
That's the way to do it.
Is this supposed to be up here?
Yeah, that's just a PA.
And I'd just like to get another receiver on another frequency just to verify that the SIGGEN is is not misbehaving. Or
Okay, so we're just checking the receive sensitivity of this transverter, and that's about 100 minus 110 dBm. You can hear the tone in there. Turn the signal off. So it's definitely there. That's 5.76 gigahertz. And where's it going? So there's the signal. And to check if you want to peak up your receive chain, use the snowflake jig. You move around until you hear the signal increase. In this case, I think it is peaked up already. Every time I touch it, actually goes down. And you can know it's working. You can hear the tone going up and down as I touch the filter. And one thing to be careful of is you don't short any devices out.
Been there, done that.
Yep. So I don't think I'm going to get any advantage for snowflake on this particular board. It's done. It's pretty much optimised as much as possible.
this is a standard 5/16 AF spanner, and it's one of the essential tools when you're playing around with microwaves because it's the correct across flats distance for SMA connectors. So it's possible to just quickly grab onto the SMA connector shell and tighten it up properly. And SMA connectors do need to be just pinch tightened as well. But this spanner has been pared away, ground away on the end so that the sides are very small, and that makes it possible to reach into these difficult to locate places on an SMA relay. The other useful modification to this spanner that I've made is to grind away a gap in the end of the ring section so that that can actually go over a piece of 141 coax. For those of you who don't know, that is actually 1.141 coaxial cable, and then that can go onto the SMA connector and be a very positive grab of the connector, and then the spanner is easily removed. One of the essential tools when you're playing around with microwaves.
All I did to make this was I put the copper pieces between two pieces of wood with a clamp around the outside, and then I just used a gas propane torch to actually solder the whole lot. And that took probably about 10 minutes to actually make the whole assembly.
Yep.
And I had pre-drilled the holes for the SMAs to solder those on.
Yeah. And how did you lengthen the pin inside?
That's the hard bit. That's the hard bit. It's basically just a piece of soldered into the SMA socket.
Yep.
The SMA bulkhead socket.
Yep.
Hey, not great, but
I reckon it
certainly
is.
Cost effective.
No, I reckon it is great.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're 5 and 9, and I'm located at Redcliffe.
Yeah, I'm located at Redcliffe too. VK4 VK4
It's a long distance. No, it sounds good. Big loud signal. So, yeah, I don't know how many herbs are coming out of yours, but there's a couple of watts coming out of this one. Yeah, it sounds all right. It's working after all these years of inactivity. Good. Glad you came along. VK4ZHL, VK4RE.
Yeah, glad you came along too.
We'll sign on this one. Everything seems to be working okay.
Because it's 2 years since we switched on. VK4OE, VK4ZHL.
I'm Quentin VK4AQF, and this is an Anritsu spectrum analyzer from 100 kHz to 26.5 GHz. The resolution bandwidth on a spectrum analyzer is important because that shows you what sort of signal you can look at and what sort of signal you can separate apart. Because as the sweep goes, you can't sweep a very, very fine resolution on a very big bandwidth. So you have to sweep it down and then reduce the resolution bandwidth so you can see a modulation of 1 kHz, say on a 1 GHz signal. You can see the sidebands plus or minus. These are reasonably stable. They're not perfect. They do need calibrating, and they have a digital readout, but it is a variable analog digital readout. It's not like a modern one with a full counter in it, but it works reasonably well once it's been running. It's been fairly stable. So, yeah, okay.
going to be hard.
Whatever we've done,
Okay,
well, that's down on 10 gigs.
You right?
Yeah. So, down on 10 gigs, 10.0, it was very, very good.
Oh, that's out.
10.4, it's there, but 10.3, it's still that 14 dB, the 14 dB return loss that we had before.
At what frequency though? At what frequency is that trough?
That's on the trough, the big trough is 10.05 gigs.
Okay.
You hear it over there.
Yeah, you can.
Let's see what happens as they're slowing in and out.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be the resonant frequency of the reflector?
I can't say.
Okay, so I might have taken too much metal off that.
Maybe.
You put some back on. Now just have a look at the depth of that trough as I slide this in and out. So go to the depth of the trough, and I'll just on the 10 point, the higher of the frequencies.
I'll put it down on 10368 or perhaps, and you can see it from what we're doing there.
Oh yes, hang on then.
You right?
Something's making it go down. What are you doing when you're doing it?
I'm just sliding the waveguide in and out, so I'm altering the distance to the dish. Unfortunately, I have to put my hand round as well.
So you can make it significantly better.
It just doesn't slide freely. It comes one way and then not the other.
Well, that's 16 dB return loss.
I'll just get it a bit better. Let's try that again. How many dB is that now?
It is now 18.5 dB return loss.
And the trough of that, the frequency of that trough?
That is nearly in a trough. It still peaks a little bit above that.
So in the depth of that second trough, what frequency is that?
10.5 still. But what's happened is that there's a dip in return loss. It comes up in the middle, it goes down again, and then it's off up again. And we've now reduced the height of that little mountain in the middle.
Right. Well, I'm now run to the limit of what I know now. So what are you going to suggest? Do we keep on?
I would say be happy that the thing at 10.368 is heaps better than it was when we first started.
Okay. Then that's good enough.
Yes.
Be happy.
Well, that was the Brisbane VHF Group's microwave tune-up day. As you can see, good attendance, lots of fun, and lots of tweaking going on. So if you're thinking about getting into microwaves, as you can see, there's a lot of support here, a lot of help to get you down that path successfully. This is Adam, VK4 GHZ, at the Redcliffe Amateur Radio Club Rooms.